Hello and welcome to another TechHub.Training video solution. Today we're going to be going over the PowerAutomate Basic Company Survey Bot challenge. And in this challenge, a quick overview, you're going to use PowerAutomate with Microsoft Forms to create a survey experience for customers at your company, which is called Basic Company. And you want to do this because you've been getting some poor reviews online on the web for everybody to see, and you would like to direct these reviews to your company internally so that it isn't viewable by everybody and you can address customers' concerns directly. Because you're a busy person, you want to automate this process, and you've heard that Power Automate is a really good way to do so. So in this solution video, I'm going to show you how you can automate this entire process to receive reviews internally. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is create a form for people to fill out. So I have Microsoft Forms pulled up right here, and let's just create a new form. So I clicked on that button, and let me just go and make sure that I have all the instructions. Okay, so let's just title this form Basic Company Solution Video, just to differentiate from my different one that I created earlier. Okay, and now what you're going to be doing is you want to ask the customer for their name. So let's do a text box here. First question, what is your name? And we want to make sure this is required so that they have to fill this out. The next question is going to be their email address, and we need this so that we can send them an email thanking them for completing the survey. What is your email address? So we'll also keep this one required. Okay, and then for our next question, we're gonna give them multiple options. So we'll do choice. We're gonna change it to multiple answers because they could have purchased multiple products from us. And the question is, what product did you, oh, sorry, I wasn't clicked on it. What product did you purchase from us? We want this one to be required. We got multiple answers. Okay. And the products that we sell are soda, pickle chips. Let's add another option, hats, and then other. Just in case they bought something else or think they bought something else from us. Okay, and then for our next question, we want it to be a rating. And we're going to ask, how would you rate your experience on a scale of 1 to 5? And we also want this one to be required. And this one's required. Okay. Now this next one, we're going to include a net promoter score just to see how likely they are to recommend us to a friend or colleague. So you can see it's already filled out with that question, so we don't need to change that. And then we want to capture any additional comments that they have. So let's just do another text box and say, do you have any additional comments? And this one, we don't need to be required. So, and maybe let's select a long answer for this in case they have a long comment they want to give us. Okay, so let's preview this, make sure it looks good. What is your name, email address? Would you rate us? Everything looks good, so let's just fill it out with our info for me. And I purchased pickle chips. Very likely to recommend. Okay, we'll submit that. Okay, great. So we have this form created. It should be saved. So let's go to PowerAutomate now and set up our workflow so that we can automate the process of sending emails to the person. So I'll just type in PowerAutomate. And you have to have Microsoft 365 to be able to use PowerAutomate. And I'll go here to create, and we want it to be an automated cloud flow that's triggered by a designated event. The event that we want to trigger it is when a new response is submitted on our form that we just created. So we'll select that. I'll just name this Basic Company Survey Video Solution. Okay, and then we'll hit create. Okay, and now we have the start of our workflow here. So when a new response is submitted, we need to identify which form that we're looking for a value from. Oh, and it looks like we're not connected. So we need to change our connection. You can see here it says not connected. Oh, there we go. Okay, now it's saying that I'm connected there. Sometimes this can be a little bit finicky. Okay, and we have this form right here, basic company solution video, and that's the one I just created. So we'll select that. Easy enough. And then we're going to add a new action below. And let's just type in Microsoft form to see all the available actions we have here. And with this one, we want to get the response details from that form. In this way, we'll have those filled out fields that we can then reference in our email later. So this is important. Okay, so we want to get the response details for that same form. And it's saying response ID. I am not quite sure what to put here. Let's just do that response ID right there, that dynamic field. And that is for this basic company solution video. So that's perfect. That's exactly what we want. Okay, so now this flow is triggered whenever a new response is submitted, and then we get all the response details, the answers to all those questions. So now let's send an email to ourselves to let us know that we got that response. And let's just do send an email right here. It should work perfectly. Okay, and then you'll type in your email address here. I'll just put mine. Let's see, student.byu.edu. There we go. Subject, we'll just call this basic company survey response, and type a message to ourselves. Here's the information. And then here is where we can put in the dynamic values that the customer input in their form. And so this will be handy. So then we can just quickly glance at this email and see, okay, we got a review. Let's see what their overall thoughts were on what they purchased. So let's see all of the different dynamic responses that we can put in here. Okay, let's put down their name, their email address, what products they purchased, how they would rate their experience, how likely they are to recommend us, and any additional comments. Okay, and now let's format this to be a little bit more readable so they're not all just right next to each other. So we'll just do name, let's maybe write customer name, customer email, products purchased, rating, and then we'll say of 5 because it'll just give us a number. How likely are you to recommend us? Let's call this net promoter score. And then additional comments. Okay, all right, we want the importance to be normal. We don't have any advanced parameters that we want to set. That's perfect. Okay, so it should send us an email with all the info from the survey. And now we want to send an email to the customer. However, we want the email to be positive or have, I guess, a more excited tone if the customer gave us a positive review, and we want it to be a little bit more somber, maybe more apologetic sounding if they gave a low review. And so the way that we're going to designate which of those two emails we'll send is with a condition, or I guess a control, sorry. Oh, and it is called a condition. Okay, so we'll put this in. This is basically an if statement. And so we're going to say if the rating that they gave us was, I believe it's 4 or 5, then we'll send them a positive email. And if they, or I guess a more excited sounding email. And if it's 3 or lower, then we'll send them a more somber email. Let me just double check to make sure I'm getting those numbers right. It's greater than 3. Okay, sorry, it's actually if they gave us a 3 or greater, then we're going to send them a positive email. Okay, so we're going to create this equation here. So we want to say if this review is greater than or equal to, and then 3. Now the tricky part here is when we're getting this response from the form and it's the number of their rating, that's actually set to be a string value and not a numerical value. And so if we want to treat it like a number, we have to actually put in a function here that converts it to a number. And so it's pretty easy to do that. Let's just type in integer, or maybe I think it was float actually. And we see this conversion function here that says float, convert the parameter argument to a floating point number. A float is just a type of number. And so we want to convert that response to a float so that we can treat it as a number. Okay, and then that was a function. So now we want to go to this dynamic content. That's where we're going to be able to get the response. And let's select this one here. How would you rate your experience on a scale of 1 to 5? And so that put this inside of that float function, so it'll get converted to a number. Oh, and I did not click save. That's okay. Let me just do it again real quick. So float. Okay, and then our dynamic content. How would you rate your experience? Okay, and then you want to click add down here. If you don't click add, then it won't actually add it. Okay, and it looks like it's there. Now we want to change the operator to be is greater than, or greater or equal to, and then the value is going to be 3. Okay, I'm sorry guys, I am backwards. It's actually, we want it to be, if they gave us a review of 4 or 5, and then we send them a positive email. So it's not actually greater or equal to, it's is greater than 3. So if it's a 3, it'll go to false, but if it's a 4 or 5, it'll go to the true statement. Okay, apologies for that. So now we've got this condition sent. So now anything that's a 4 or 5 will get routed to this true section. So let's add in our activity here. And if it's true, we want to send an email. We'll also send an email if it goes to false, but they'll be worded differently. Okay, so send an email. Okay, 2. And then right here, we're going to want to click switch to advanced mode. That'll allow us to add a dynamic field. And dynamic fields you add with this lightning bolt here. And we're sending it to the email address that they provided. That's why it was crucial that they give us an email address. The subject, let's just say, thank you for your review of Basic Company. Okay, and we're making this one worded a little bit more positively. Let's actually just name this one review of Basic Company. This isn't crucial to completing the solution. This is just how you want to word it personally. So maybe we'll just say, thank you for your review of Basic Company. For your convenience, here are the details you submitted from your review. And then down here, let's just add in all of those different values. So you put in their name, email address, products purchased, rating, likeliness to recommend, and additional comments. So we'll say name, and just do it similar to how we wrote that email to ourselves. Email address, products purchased, likeliness to recommend. Oh, sorry, this is actually rating. Out of 5. Likeliness to recommend, and additional comments. Okay, so we'll say something like that. Perfect. Now we are going to essentially create the same email, just change the wording and put it under false. So let's see if there's a way to do that. I'm going to copy this action and then we want to paste it. And it looks like I can't really paste it, so maybe I'll just paste the wording. But let's add that activity in, send an email. Okay, and then here, let's just copy that entire message and then change it so that it's not quite as excited. And for this one, I'm just changing the wording very slightly, but you can obviously make that wording however you want to. Mainly just taking out some exclamation points. And let's add in their email address. Okay, so now you can see if they give us a score of 3 or less, we'll send them this more formal sounding email. And if they send us 4 or 5, we'll send this more excited email. Okay, and so this is the extent of the challenge. So let's save it and let's test it to make sure that it's going to work. Okay, so I'm just waiting for this to turn green up here to show that it's saved. Okay, your flow is ready to go. We recommend you test it. So now let's test it. You'll test it by clicking on test flow. If we had tested it previously, we could use this automatically, but since we haven't, we'll use manually. Click on that and hit test. And now it says to see it work, perform the starting action. Okay, so we're going to fill out our survey. So let's go back to our survey and submit another response. And I'll just put my name, my email address, what products did I purchase this time? I purchased all of these, and I also purchased a sticker. How would I rate my experience? 1 star, I would not recommend. I'd say the pickle chips were way too salty. Okay, now let's submit that. And let's see if it runs. Okay, that was very quick. You can see that it already has gathered that response and is going through the flow. So let's check each of these values and see if it went correctly. Okay, so we got this. It looks like this one went through fine. It gathered all the details. We sent an email, and it should have also sent this more somber sounding email. So let's check my email and see what we got. Okay, perfect. It looks like I got a couple emails here. So we got this email to myself saying that our company's received a review. And then we have this other one here that would go to the customer and it gives them the details. And it looks like it is the more somber version of the email. So everything ran correctly. Okay, that is the Basic Company Survey Bot Challenge. I hope you enjoy it and think about how you could take the lessons you learned from PowerAutomate and apply it to different aspects of your business. Thank you.